Told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong.
Good morning, this is Rouser Radio, broadcasting from the White Hart Hotel in Lewes, East Sussex, and a very good morning to you. Not a bad day, really, a bit better than yesterday, and the time is now 7:32.
As you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no, you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you, but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side, maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. As you fade away. As you fade away.
Well, it's Thursday, the 15th of September in 2022. Time 7:34. We can expect 20 degrees outside, 19, 20. Getting a little cooler all the time, although it looks as if we're in for a few days of sunshine in the next few days after this. Today we'll get scattered breaks in the cloud, no rain, and a light breeze. So, not too bad, but watch it, you can get caught, you know. And so we're broadcasting. Young Steve has just brought me my coffee, that'll get me going.
Good morning.
How are you, Steve?
I'm very well, thank you.
God bless you. Always here with a lovely smile on his face first thing in the morning. So here we are with Rouser Radio ahead of Mirador Television, which comes along at 7:30. It is now it comes along at 8:30. It is now 7:35. We go through to about 8:15, and then we pack up our bags and give the studio over to Mirador Television. Those of you who are terribly keen and eager can see that we put up just the video of us beavering away on radio just for the next 3/4 of an hour. So welcome, and throughout the night and throughout the day, crowds are queuing. Some of them waiting for more than 8-10 hours to spend perhaps less than a minute in front of Her Majesty's coffin in Westminster Hall, but nonetheless doing it and very pleased and proud to do it they are. And it's a sign of the deep emotion that sits in our society in being English, if you like, or British, and we don't display it most of the time. But at times like this, for Diana, the Queen Mother, people who have made an impact on our lives, we are most generous in our grief and so on, except for a few. And those few is they have every right to express their views. The trouble is that they try to tell the rest of us what they're going to do. They're the woke generation, and I'm afraid what they suggest is old hat and has been proven many times not to work. Whereas our present system, a constitutional monarchy, works not only here but in a good dozen countries around the world, many close to home, such as Norway, Sweden, Denmark, the Netherlands, and Spain. So, if you want to look at a form of government that gives a settled society, there you are. Look no further. It's not just us. And those people who will say, oh, well, the cost, etc., etc., well, look at that as well. Because in the list, we're only about 7th or 8th, the most expensive, with France a good third, spending a good third more on their presidency than we spend on our monarchy. So come on, if you're of the view that royalty is this, that, the other, blah, 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 first of all, give us a creditable substitute for what we've got. Something to replace the constitutional monarchy, because it's far from perfect. Absolutely willing to concede that point. The thing is that I can't find from this lot who want to be Republicans and so on any evidence whatsoever that is a better system. In fact, there's every evidence it's a worse system. But there you are. There's no telling some people. And the thing that really perhaps upsets me the most is that they are mean of spirit. They are really mean of spirit. And that's the thing that bothers me. I do not want people in charge or even proposing substitutes for what we've got who are mean of spirit. That is the worst thing that you could possibly have in leadership. And that's what they display. And that's most certainly not what I'm going to subscribe to. There we go. Down with your get up, because it is now 7:39, damn near 20 to 8. So it is time for you to start getting up. Let's put up the microphone. There we are. That gets us going, doesn't it? Down with your get up from the mini vandals. I went searching for some music this morning prior to going on air. Everybody keeps on saying how wonderful the internet is. Yeah, well, there's loads of stuff there, but everybody decides on a different way and different security and so on and so forth. Until the end, it's such a pain looking for stuff. Is it's not worth it. I'm gonna play it. Get a biscuit in your mouth, and you're in real trouble. Yes, I know the kids pull down stuff and they play games and so on and so forth. And if that's what it's all about, that's fine. But if we're talking about the internet as a very valuable source of information, which it can be and is in many ways, is stop making it so difficult. Simplify the system. The IT kids, the people that various companies employ to so-called improve their apps and their ways of communicating, is they don't improve it at all. What they do is they complicate it. They understand what the hell they're talking about, but the rest of us don't. So please start getting your act together. Computers are not the be-all and end-all of everything. Of course, they add to the success of our way of life. Of course, they are helpful, but only if they're treated properly. And in the main, and particularly the bigger the corporation, the bigger the company, they're not. I'll give you an example. I got a letter 3 days ago, from some central form of government saying I hadn't applied for heating. I thought I had, but what the heck? So I spent a lot of time going through their website and filling in what they asked me to. It took me about 5 goes because we kept on hitting deadlock and it wouldn't let me fill in certain things. But anyway, I persevered. I got the thing off, and almost within 24 hours, I got a thing back saying, no, you've already applied for this, bugger off. Well, that's okay, but the computer didn't recognize, on the one hand, the computer didn't recognize that I'd applied, and on the other, the computer recognized very quickly that I'd applied. The two sides do not know what they're doing. Now, if it didn't make a simple mistake like that, it can make huge errors. And we only have to have the example of the post officers and postmistresses who got into dreadful trouble because of a glitch in the computer and the computer system. Okay, grudgingly, eventually, an apology, grudgingly, and eventually some sort of compensation. But the fact is that nobody's learned any lessons. They still use the same bloody computer system. They still go the same route. And that is typical of the civil service. Typical of government. The trouble is, it's also become typical of big business. The banks are a disgrace, an absolute disgrace, with the way that they use computers. They should hang their head in shame. And yet, I was talking to somebody this morning on the way in, and he's been told he can only work for 4 days a week now because they can't afford, and they aren't getting enough business to pay for 5. And yet, the headlines are that we have full employment and everything in the garden is rosy. Well, it's not. And the computers particularly get it wrong. Computers have to be updated regularly. They only shovel out what's shoveled in. And what's being shoveled in is from incompetence. I'm sorry to say that, but it is. It's from incompetence. We do not have people of any skill or substance anymore. We've got a lot of con artists, very good at telling the tale. But things have got to change. We cannot, as a nation, carry on this way. It is absolute disaster, and we're heading in that direction. So get your finger out, chaps. get your finger out and keep us apprised of what's happening without constant use of the computer. The computer is a devil in disguise, and unfortunately, we have let's see. We have total dependence by a generation. Take the computer away, and they're useless. They cannot do anything without it. What happens if we get involved in a war where we are constantly reminded that this may well be a cyber war? We are constantly reminded that the police don't walk the beat anymore because they're so busy fighting cybercrime. Well, they don't seem to be doing a very good job. Perhaps what we've got to do is to start to get a balance between what we need in human resources and daily contact, human contact, and what we can do with the computer. All right, let's take a look at the papers. The Daily Mail, historic special edition. She lies at peace as her people bid solemn farewells. The Mail is, and that's how the front page reads. And it's a picture of the coffin lying in state in Westminster Hall. The Eye, the long goodbye, and the Eye has the picture of the queues filing in, with queues to view the Queen lying in state. The Independent. Hang on, the Independent. That's goodness gracious me. The Independent must be putting out a special edition. Surely the Independent is a Sunday paper. No, it's not. No. Okay. Britain lines up to say farewell to the Queen, and that's more or less it. With once again the picture of the coffin lying in state. Daily Star, shoulder to shoulder for a day at least, and it majors on the fact that Kate and Meghan and Harry and Wills are at peace with one another, as they say, at least for a day. The Guardian has a picture of the king following his mother's coffin, and also leads on a story about the occupation of Izium in Ukraine. It says, amid the pageantry, the Queen takes place in history. And the second is people disappeared. Izium recalls the horror of occupation. Outsiders visit the city and described as a second Mariupol for the first time since in Russian retreat. And Ukrainian prosecutors work to gather evidence of illegal war crimes as residents tell of their ordeal. War is a strange thing. It doesn't have to be that way. And the fact that the Russians have indulged, apparently, in some horrific instances, I'm not saying the other side wouldn't either. War, as I say, is a very, very strange beast. It is, no matter whether we've got conventions or not, is all civilized behavior goes out of the window. The Sun. We share your pain, reads the front page of the Sun, and with a picture of Wills and a grimace on his face, and Harry with his eyes closed looking to the heavens, and Charles looking very serious as the new monarch. The Daily Mirror. The Prince and Princess of Wales appear on the front of the Daily Mirror, and alongside the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Same picture, more or less. Yes, it is the same picture as the sun. Oh, they're two good bedfellows. Pride and the pain, reads the mirror. Pride and the pain. Family mourn amid scenes of pageantry as the Queen's lying in state begins. The Daily Telegraph. After processions and services involving the royal family, it is the nation's turn to say farewell to the Queen as she lies in state. And the Daily Telegraph's headline is Nation's Turn to Say Farewell. The Metro. It leads with an image of the Queen's procession to Westminster Palace, with the royals walking behind the coffin, and with the pageantry expressed by the military with the horses that pulled the gun carriage. And it says, "Our jewel, her crown." The Times has a wraparound cover with an image of the Queen lying in state and the quote, "Grief is the price we pay for love." Well, I guess. The Times, a nation pays its respect. Once again, a photograph of the coffin, but before it is taken into Westminster Hall, with the royals saluting as the coffin moves into position. And the Financial Times says thousands of mourners line the streets of central London to watch the procession of Queen Elizabeth's coffin go to the Palace of Westminster. Financial Times, yes. It has a royal family escorts the Queen in procession to Westminster Hall. It also has a couple of other front page stories. Quarteng set to end cap on bankers' bonuses. I'm afraid bankers are not my favourite people. The governments go cap in hand to them because they're scared silly of finance. And here we go again to giving them plenty of scope to take a lot of our money and put it in their pockets. Quarteng, not a good start to your administration, to your stewardship, and I hope you're going to show a bit more instead of kowtowing to the very wealthy. U.S. shale chief warns they cannot save Europe from a winter energy crunch. So there we go. We've got that. The Daily Express leads with an image of the Queen lying in state with mourners filing past. "Your nation stands with you, ma'am," is the headline. Well, that is the front pages of all our major newspapers. What's on the back pages? Well, let's take a look at if I've got it here somewhere. There was some footy starting again, which means that will dominate the back pages, unfortunately. Oh dear, the new manager of Chelsea is Salzburg, playing at home, only could draw 1-1. And they've got the new wonder manager, the guy that has worked wonders at Brighton. Certainly a guy that we should watch, who is going to be a great force in the future, I think. But nonetheless, at his first game, and believe me, you do very well in one club, and then you go to a great big club with huge amounts of money and so on and so forth, and suddenly it's a different game. Let's see how he comes out of it. Yorkshire's six-figure payoff to axed Gale. Yorkshire agreed a six-figure compensation package with former captain and coach Andrew Gale yesterday in a mediated settlement after conceding his claim for unfair dismissal. I think we're talking cricket here. Let's see. Blues let it slip on Potter's debut. Yes. So if we're looking for good news, it's the same old garbage. There is something that needs reforming. The people who actually are sports reporters, not a bad lot, all in all, but they get in their own bubble, and they fail to realise the generality of their readers. And they go on and on about stuff which really is of no interest whatsoever. Manchester City 2, Borussia Dortmund 1. So a bit of joy there, I suppose, if you're a footy fan. And where do we go from there? Because there's got to be something going on other than footy, hasn't there? No. United meet the Moldova Mafia. It means I won't take risks on a plastic pitch. United meet the Moldova. Rashford's fitness test to determine England fall. What else? Worcester's next match faces the Axe. Oh, this is rugby union. Worcester are on the brink of forfeiting Sunday's game against Exeter after the cash-strapped club failed to pay its stadium suppliers. And so a bit of financial problems there. And but no, the rest is footy. The rest is footy. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. There's a bit of cricket here. Players will feel safe in Pakistan, says Jordan. Pope, one of our batsmen, I'll do anything to play in 100 tests. The England number 3 has a new lease of life. Now he's not afraid of getting out. Hunt is on the new test bowling coach. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. All dreary stuff. Why they fill 8 or 10 pages with this crap, I have no idea. And nobody reads it, because nobody reads anything anymore. So why they insist? Why not have great big pictures and a few words? That's what I say. I mean, not for the paper generally, but for the sports. Sports is a pain in the backside. And if we actually look at the business news, the FTSE is spooked after a sharp sell-off on Wall Street. Really, that's market talk, and we won't worry too much about that. Is there anything else on energy? Because Stuart Dolby, energy expert, was incensed yesterday with what's happening with the 150 billion. The star stock picker to close emerging markets fund. Oh, right. So some guy who's started to trust. Hornby seems ahead with festive orders. Oh, I'm very happy with that because I'm a model trade buff. Hornby is doing very well. Thank you, Hornby Trains. Europe is battling big tech. A great failure of Europe is that in spite of all its engineering and technology expertise, it has failed miserably to replicate the success of the United States in creating and expanding the reach of digital giants Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. So we're sucking behind tit on that. Aston Martin faces a 150 million lawsuit over its hypercar. Oh, right. Sonia Rai at Naked Wines as the director quits and the shares tank. In other words, shares go down. Red Row, who are what? Property market experts, warns that the red hot market is now slowing. And that's going to have an effect on Lewis because everybody was buying like crazy at the height of the lockdown, height of the pandemic. So that's the situation for at 8:01 on the morning of the 15th of September 2022. I think what we better do is we had better, I think, to play a little music. Yes. This is in 5 straight rows, also by the Mini Vandals. let's let's just pursue my little rant there about computers, because I literally did once again. It is the NHS has taken stick for this because their computer system, known as the hub, is quite often happy to tell you on a Monday or on a Tuesday that you've got an appointment on a Monday. In other words, it has glitches all over the place, and yet the medical profession use it unflinchingly and unquestioningly. I'm not against the hub. I'm not against using technology in medicine, in the NHS, or anything else. What I am against is just letting it go free. In other words, the computer will look after it. You don't have to worry. Well, the computer won't look after it. I am, for my sins, a trainer in communications, and I always start off my lectures by saying there is a golden rule about this particular sector, and the golden rule is there is no golden rule. In other words, you have to think on your feet. You have to be prepared for glitches. You have to be prepared for any circumstance, because it won't necessarily go according to Hoyle, and that is very true. But nobody has bothered to tell the IT people. They just pour out the same crap day after day after day after day. Sir, thank you for paying your bill. We assure you that you will not get a Dunning letter. 24 hours later, what comes is a Dunning letter. I mean, it's just it's completely idiotic. And what happened in this particular instance with me is I got a letter saying you haven't applied for the £150 that you're owed, and that £150 will be cut off. Good morning, Max. Max is here. That will be cut off if you don't actually apply. So I didn't know whether I'd got this damn £150 or not. So I applied. Wow, that was a nightmare. I had to go on to 3 different things: my laptop, my phone, my iPad, and just to make their damn system work. In one instance, it wouldn't allow me to put my own name into the thing. And then, after all this trauma, and eventually getting it off without any sort of acknowledgement, then I get a thing back 24 hours later saying, terribly sorry, your claim is denied, you already received it. Thank you very much indeed. Why did their computer and the computer that sent out the letter not talk to each other? Why weren't they coordinated? Oh, we can't do that. Goodness gracious me, no. That makes sense. We are the civil service. We are councils. We are the people who support government. We can't be expected to use common sense. We can't be expected to put in systems that make sense to people all over the world, or even in their own backyard. Goodness gracious me, no. What do you expect of us? Well, what we expect of you is a certain amount of efficiency, and which you are not sending through to your computer systems. Get with it. Get with it, or get rid of it. If you have to go back and sit behind a desk and get your fingernails dirty, get them dirty, because we are fed up of people sitting at home for 4 days, saying that they're working when they're not. Please call this number. Oh, press 1, press 2, press 3, press 4. Press 4. Your call is important to us. You are 50th in the queue. It's going to be 2.5 hours before we can answer you. But your call is important to us. Do hang on the line. Ha ha ha. Hang on the line for 2.5 hours? Yeah, and quite often on lines that are ticking up the bill. Tick, 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 tick. If somebody can't do something about that, I really think that a lot of people should resign and go back and reapply for these positions with a new set of criteria. Will anybody listen to me? Nah, not a bit of choice, not a bit of hope. And it's 9 minutes past 8, and What should we do? Well, what we'll do is we'll play Breeze, and then it's time to go, I think. There, you see, we have some consideration for you instead of shocking you out of bed with things like In Five Straight Rows for the Mini Vandals. There we were playing Breeze from Telecasters, rather gentle sort of thing, to ease you out from between the sheets. Oh dear, as who is in bed at this hour of the morning? Well, lots of people, because I think that 7 o'clock, I get a conscience if I'm in bed after 7 o'clock. A lot of people don't even stir until 8 o'clock. And it's only now 12 minutes past 8, just 3 minutes before we say goodbye. So let's just recap that most, if not all, of the papers this morning show a picture of the Queen's coffin lying in state in Westminster Hall, and with crowds filing around. I tapped into BBC breakfast this morning, and they had a remote camera on the banks of the Thames showing the queues. What surprised me, I think, is that instead of a long queue of people, the way that you see outside the stores, for the January sales, is it was moving. There was a constant movement, and people waiting hours and hours and hours just simply to get less than probably a minute, perhaps only 30 seconds in front of the coffin. And yet the comments from those people who have been there, done that, are that, my God, I wouldn't have missed it for the world. Our Max was going to go up and do some commentary for us, but we've all thought better of that, because to behave like a journalist at this stage, you need 10,000 pieces of paper to let you anywhere near what's going on. And to stand at the back of the crowd is you can do that anyway. So he's going to stay at home and help us make sure that we give good coverage as best we can. We will not be on the air with Mirador Television next Monday because it is a bank holiday and the day of the funeral. We are a small operation. Our human resources couldn't possibly do the job which BBC and the other terrestrial broadcasters will do. And so we use the better part of valour, and we say we will take the day off too, and we will come back, and then we'll start to analyse what's said about it on Tuesday and get into our normal routine with Maxi Baby on Wednesday with Stuart, Maxi Baby on Thursday with with Liza. Oh my God, he gets all the toughies, I'll tell you. I had to stand in for Stuart yesterday, who's not feeling terribly well, and I was a pussycat compared to what he normally has to deal with. But anyway, that will be our week next week. It is now 14 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock. In fact, it's just clicked up 15 minutes past. So here we go. We're going to say goodbye, and join us at 8:30 with Mirador Television. And with me for a little while, and then Max Hurd with Liza Page. Good value.
It hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to grey as you fade away.
So Toodle Pip, this is Rouser Radio, broadcasting from the White Hart Hotel in Lewes, East Sussex, but broadcasting to the world. And I'm delighted that you were with us for this short period of time first thing in the morning.
I feel like it's Monday, something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way.